Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Danielle and I'm the owner of Damn Fancy Creations and the Drunk Flamingo Glitter. I am still trying to get over a cold that I had this past week, so my voice may be a little scratchy. It may go out a little bit, but we are going to make it through this tutorial. For today's video, we are going to be using another tumbler charm from Cami Page Boutique. This time we are going to be using her Christmas tree, and I love it so much. It seems so simple, but it makes a big statement when you just add it to your tumbler. And we are going to be adding this tumbler charm to a snow globe tumbler. I am also going to be using the snow globe solution from Cami Page Boutique, which is perfect if you don't want to mix up your own liquid. It comes in the bottle ready to go. All you have to do is add it to your tumbler. We will go over everything that you see listed here, but as always, if you guys have questions, please just ask in the comments or one of my groups and I will get back to you. Also, don't forget to check the description where I list all items you will need to recreate this tumbler, as well as discount codes from my favorite suppliers. So before we get started, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right, y'all, so here is everything we're going to be using. This is our tumbler charm. I went ahead and painted it green and teal, just some spray paint colors that I thought would go well with this vinyl. This is our snow globe tumbler. These are the decals, and this is the vinyl that I'm going to be using. I was kind of aiming for a Christmas night theme, not something that was like overly Christmas, like the typical red and greens. I really wanted the snow globe to kind of appear like a night sky when the glitter was kind of all shaken up in the snow globe. So we're just trimming off all of our edges, and then I'm basically just going to measure the length and width of the interior part of our snow globe tumbler. So I'm just wrapping this around, and wherever that vinyl meets, I am just going to put a little dot, and then I'm just going to cut it. So I'm taking it off camera so I can cut it with my paper cutter. And now I'm measuring the height of it. So now we have our vinyl wrap. I'm going to do the same thing that I do with my regular tumblers. I'm using my Cup Cradle by Cami Page Boutique to draw a straight line. So this way it's going to be a little bit easier to line up our vinyl. So I'm going to peel back our vinyl sheet and just cut the backing a little bit. So this is going to act as a hinge. And I am placing it right underneath that metal rim, so that when I wrap it, you're not going to be able to see a white space between the vinyl and the rim of the tumbler. So once I'm sure that it is as straight as it's going to get, we're just going to smooth it down as we remove that backing. And with a pattern such as this, the seam isn't really super noticeable anyway. If this pattern had larger items on it, I would try to disguise the seam like y'all have seen me do in other videos. So I am just trimming the edges, just cutting little slits in it, heating it with my heat gun just a little bit, just to smooth down the vinyl, make sure there's no air bubbles I need to get rid of. And then I'm heating the vinyl that I slit so that it makes it easier to kind of stretch over that rim and lay down flat. So next what I'm going to do is take a scrap piece of vinyl, and I am just going to trace the bottom of the tumbler. I'm just using a pencil because I don't want to get any marker or pen on my tumbler. And y'all can't really see that because it was pretty light. So I'm just cutting out this circle, and we're just going to pop that on the end of the tumbler. You don't have to do this because it is going to be covered up. You're not really even going to be able to see this part, but I just wanted to show you guys how I did it in case you want to do this for a regular tumbler. This is how I would disguise the bottom of a vinyl tumbler. So we're going to set this to the side for now, and we're going to decorate our Christmas tree. So I wanted mine to be a snowy Christmas tree, so I'm just using my glitter snow. And I am using a silicone tool to apply this glitter snow. I try to use a silicone tool when I can, just because it's so much easier to clean, because I typically forget to wash out my brushes. And this glitter snow does dry fairly quickly, so even if you forget about your brush for 10 minutes, that glitter snow is going to start to set, and it can be hard to get out of paintbrushes. With the silicone tool, all you have to do is wipe it off with a scrap rag, or just pop it off of the silicone once it dries. And y'all can see I'm not really brushing this on. I'm just kind of getting like a little glob on my silicone tool, and then I'm just kind of dotting it on the ends of the branches, just wherever I want the snow. And I also go back and add some kind of in between the branches, like within the little crevices and stuff, just because I don't want really any blank spaces. So once you're happy with your tree, we're going to set this to the side and let it dry. While your tree is drying, we are going to put a layer of epoxy on the vinyl part that we just wrapped. So you're going to epoxy that tumbler just like you would a regular tumbler. We're just not going to do the lid. So these have been epoxied. You can tell that they're shiny. We just applied a layer. If you need help getting underneath that silver rim, then you can use a paintbrush, a popsicle stick, anything you can to help you at least cover that vinyl. So now we're going to put these two pieces together. So you can use glue if you would like to. I am going to use Artistry's Hyper Speed. I like to use this epoxy for things that I need set quickly because it dries quicker than a glue would, and it dries quicker than a regular fast setting epoxy. So I'm just mixing up about 10 mils, and I'm just gonna mix it just like I would a regular epoxy. I don't really ever time myself. I just stir the mixture until I don't see any striations. And once I think that this mixture is well combined, I'm going to take a small amount of the epoxy and I'm just going to pour it right in that silver cap. So right where the tumbler and the silver cap meet, there's a cavity, which is where the plastic part of the tumbler is going to slide into. So we're just filling that area with epoxy, so that when we slide that plastic tube on top of the barrel, that epoxy is going to lock it in place. And I think that this also will create a stronger bond than if we were just to use an adhesive. So we're just sliding that tube on top, and I just turn it a little bit just to make sure that everything is nice and sealed. So I wait about an hour. This is totally adhered and is not coming off. So now we can attach our charm. I'm just going to use E6000 to attach our charm. I just need something that's going to hold this tree in place. The epoxy is what's going to bond it to the tumbler. And I am placing my tree about a ½ inch from the bottom because I know that I want to add some snow beneath the Christmas tree, so I want to have room to add some snow. So I'm just kind of planning my design right now, how I'm going to place these little angels. So I am planning on adding a star. So I'm just kind of placing these little angels looking like they're looking at or placing the star up on the tree. And I did wait about 5 minutes so that this tree could bond a little bit. And then I stood it upright and we're going to place our larger decal. And obviously I cannot lay this tumbler flat because the tree is on the other side. So I just stood this upright and applied the decal as straight as I could. And now I'm going to add a couple more little angels. And then my tree fell off. Be more patient than I am, y'all. So after I had my angels on there, I let this dry completely. I did add some snow. I thought that I filmed that part, but maybe not. So I just added some snow to the bottom of my Christmas tree. And now we're going in with some glitter juice. This is from Cami Page Boutique. And I am using the Slow AF because I like my glitter to stay suspended as long as possible. And I just picked out some navy and gold glitter. I thought that both of these went well with the vinyl. I will link everything down in the comments if you guys want to know names of everything that I'm using. So I just put a little bit of the glitter juice in first so that I had liquid at the very top of the tumbler. That way when I added the glitter in there, the glitter was not going to get stuck at the top rim. And once I think that I had enough glitter in there, I just filled the tumbler the rest of the way up with the liquid. And then I spilled my glitter everywhere, so that's super fun. Used my little blinged out glitter vacuum that Rachel made for me. Shout out to Rachel. So I just kind of plugged the hole with my finger and just shook it around just to see how it was going to look. And I was pretty happy with how much glitter was in there. So I just added liquid the rest of the way up. And then I do let these sit overnight just to let them degas because we don't want a lot of air trapped in the tumbler. So now that they have sat overnight, there is a little bit of space. I'm just going to show you guys how I do both of these bottoms. There was like a big little air pocket in there I could see. So I was just knocking on the side of the tumbler to get that air pocket to move. Typically, I would bring my little massager upstairs. It is a shoulder massager that works really well at getting air bubbles out. but I didn't want to walk all the way downstairs. So I just have a little tiny bottle, a needle nose bottle filled up with snow globe solution, and I'm just adding a few drops in there to fill the air pockets. And then we will be ready to plug the hole. For today, I'm just going to be using some packing tape. Sometimes I use acetate. I switch it up just to show you guys different ways how to do things. So I'm just taking packing tape and covering this hole. If you're going to use packing tape, make sure that it is down good. Make sure you clean the bottom with alcohol so that there's no liquid residue. You want to make sure that that packing tape is adhered well. So next I am just squirting some UV resin on the bottom of my tumbler, and I'm using just a little bit of glitter. We're not using a ton. And I'm just going to mix the glitter and the UV resin while it's on the bottom of my tumbler. And then we're also going to be getting some logo tags. These are from Mizzy's Doodles. And I like to color in my logo so that you can see the logo more. I used rose gold and black. The rose gold did not show up as well as I wanted it to. So now I'm just mixing up the glitter and UV resin. And if you are using an opaque glitter, which this gold is opaque, you don't want to use a whole lot because you still want that UV light to be able to penetrate through the UV resin and cure it correctly. I am also doing a very thin layer. You don't want it too thick either, because if your layer is too thick, it is not going to cure properly either. For the other tumbler, this glitter is pretty translucent, so you can add a little bit more if you want to, because the light will be able to penetrate through that translucent glitter, but I still just used a little bit. I don't need anything super glittery because the bottom of the snow globe is already going to be glittery. Next, I'm going to take the little scrapers that Mizzy Doodles includes in her little packs, and we're going to remove the backing. I'm using a little needle to get some color down into some little skinny parts on my logo. So there's my logo with the black writing. This one is like a slate gray, and I tried to do rose gold writing, but it didn't really show up, I think because the tag is so dark anyway. And we're just going to place these tags right in the center of our little glitter butts. And then we're going to take our light and cure this part. I am going to pop bubbles first with my little mini torch. And I use the big light that you can get on Amazon. It's been sold out But if you can find it, I definitely suggest getting it. I like it a lot better than the nail lamps. So once that layer has cured, we are going to add a clear layer of UV resin on top just to give it a nice, slick, shiny, smooth finish. So once we have some clear UV resin in there, I'm just going to bring it to the edges, make sure everything is nice and smooth and even. And then I'm also going to pop bubbles with my mini torch. And then we're going to cure this for about 2 minutes. And when I'm doing a large area like this, I kind of gently start to cure it. Sometimes I've noticed if I try to cure something quickly that is covering a large area, it will pop. I think it's just because it's curing too quickly. So I start and just kind of hold the light away from it a little bit. And then after about 10 seconds, I will move it directly on top of my project. And then once your bottom is done, I like to tape off my edges, and then we're just going to epoxy 2 to 3 times. If you guys have not seen me epoxy 3D items before, you can go back and look at some other videos. I just did not film myself actually epoxying this, but I like to use a paintbrush and just kind of get in all of the little crevices. You can clean your paintbrush with acetone when you get done. And once your epoxy layers are cured, then your cup will be finished. So this is just a little video, and here are some pictures of the finished project. I love how this turned out. I love how when the snow globe is shaken up, it looks like a Christmas tree at night. I did add a couple vinyl stars to the Christmas tree and to the decal. But if you guys decide to try a snow globe tumbler or have used this tree charm, please post, because I love to see what you guys come up with. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial or learned something new, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to catch the next video coming up that was picked just for you. As always, if you're looking for more tips, tricks, or tutorials, be sure to check out my tutorial group, my Drunk Flamingo Glitter group, or my Damn Fancy Tribe. All are linked in the description. Thanks for watching.